All right, folks, today's workout is gonna be a little cramped. I was up late last night working on this thing. Took quite a bit longer than expected, but it's not ready to be turned on yet, so I'm gonna have to work around it. And it's got the hood off and hoses everywhere. See some down here, but no big deal. So we'll still make it work. Although, if you were watching yesterday, I was saying how my back was kind of sore. It was actually feeling a lot better after working out yesterday, but now it's quite a bit worse because I was bending over that car till like 1 a.m. for a few hours. And that made it kind of sore, but that's why it's nice that my main movement for today is the leg press. I'm not doing squats, so it's not a whole lot of stress on the lower back. Might actually help some, stretching everything out, loosening it up. But today's topic we're covering is how much volume do you need? How many sets per muscle group do you need? I got asked this question on a live stream last week, and I want to elaborate more on it to help you out with it. So that's what we're going to be covering. If you have questions or joining in, post them in the comments, and I'll address those as well. And make sure audio is working. Okay. Got my supplements back here that I use harder than last time. My 3 main ones there. On the bottom, we've got the vegan chocolate protein powder, then creatine I take every day, and then the hardcore stem is what I'm using right now. Tropical fruit punch is my flavor of choice. Starting here with the leg press, I'm going to get my first warm-up set in, and we'll get to talking about stuff. I have the back pad back as far as it can go, because that helps with getting a good angle and less stress on the lower back, not rounding your back towards the bottom, which I realized I actually had this up a click from what I normally did on my last workout, and it felt a little off to me, and now it makes sense why it felt off. So make sure your equipment is in the position that you like. Don't just assume that it is, even if you're the only one that's using it. So warming up with 200 for 15 reps. Five. 10. 15. All right, felt pretty good. Start loosening stuff up. I'll be going up to my second warm-up set of 270, and then working weight of 350. And dropping a little bit towards the end. Good morning, Alan. Thanks for joining in. Let me know, did you work out already today? Or working out later? What you plan on doing? I'd like to hear what other people's schedules are for working out, what kind of plans they're on. That meant to be not a question mark, exclamation point. There we go. So, as we're looking at this, how much volume per week to build muscle. So first up, so we're clear, I don't want to assume anything. We're talking about volume. We're talking about sets and reps, right? So what are those? Reps, or when you sit down to do an exercise, I just did 15 reps. That was one set of 15 reps. So then I'm going to do my next set of 10 reps, and these are warm-ups. So The set is the block of reps you're doing. A repetition is moving the weight down and back up for whatever exercise that is. Pretty basic, but just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. So, how many reps should you do first off per set? If you're wanting to grow muscle, anywhere from 5 to 30 reps is considered to be hypertrophic, there you go. Which means just muscle building essentially. So if you want to build muscle, hypertrophy versus strength training where you're just training to get stronger, your muscles will still get bigger if you're training for strength, but it doesn't translate necessarily to size because you're training your nervous system, fast twitch fibers. There's a lot that goes into it, but essentially anywhere from 5 to 30 reps is the range you want to be shooting for to build muscle in each of your sets. So your working sets. And that's assuming that you're pushing close to failure. So just some considerations with that. If you're close to the 5 rep range, you're more likely to get hurt. Whereas 30 reps for something like this or squats, big compounds, you're likely to start running into cardio issues when you're pushing to failure because it's really hard to gauge how many reps is it going to be to failure when it's 30. And you're going to be pushing hard, your heart's going to be beating, especially with something like lunges, something like squats. So you want to make sure that you pick one that's good for you. And that's why people generally say like 10 to 12 reps is a good range for hypertrophy because you're getting good stimulus if you're controlling the weight. It's taking you around 40 to 50 seconds to do the set. So I'm going to do my next warm-up set and we'll keep talking about this. 270 for 10 reps. Five. Feeling pretty good. With each of my sets, I get like deeper because the first one, my legs, my hamstrings especially, are always pretty stiff and tight. And so that first set, I feel like I can't get down very low, but then as the weight gets heavier and I'm loosening up, that helps push even deeper. And the deeper you can go, the more stretch you get, the more you're going to activate all the muscles. So it's helpful. So now I'm going to push this up to 350 for my working sets. Got to get in the right mental space for this because I'm shooting for 14 to 15 reps. Like I was saying, when you're doing those higher, you're getting above the 10 rep range, stuff like this, it can be tough because the weight is already feeling pretty heavy and tough at 8, 9 reps, and you got to keep going. So let's see. Yeah, I got 14 reps on this last time. I'm just gonna double check. When you put this many weights on, I'm not saying that in a braggy way, but like I'm making sure that I'm counting them up right. 35, 25, 15 times 2, yep, 350. Because I have gone on there before and be like, man, I got 2 extra reps today or 3 extra reps. And I had like 20 fewer pounds than the last time. So that's frustrating when that happens. But turn this a little more. That's kind of like getting the whole rep thing out of the way. So shooting for 5 to 30 reps, ideally, to reduce your risk of injury, because getting to 5, you're getting to pretty heavy weights. And the closer you get to 5 when you're working at 10, like the more likely you're to get injured. So if you're not wanting to get hurt, you're just wanting to build muscle, like no one really cares if you're at the beach or something with your shirt off and you look jacked. No one cares how much you can bench press. Someone might ask you and then you can tell them like, oh, I benched 170 for 10. I don't know what my max is. And be like, oh, really, that's it? Because it doesn't actually take a lot to make your muscles grow. You just got to activate them well. So that is the rep range. But then when it comes to sets, that's where it gets more confusing for people, because like, how much volume do I do? What program should I do? Push, pull, legs, upper, lower, full body. How many sets do I need to do per week? How many working sets? Do warm-up sets count as that? There's a lot that goes into that question, and I'm gonna go over all that type of stuff. So if you have questions in particular about those things, let me know in the chat, and I will answer those more specifically for you. Hey Casper, welcome back. Hopefully it's a better, not late in the night for you now, watching. Yeah, dinner time there. Legs tomorrow. Glutes are burning for days after. Yeah, what do you do on your leg day? I used to do way more volume than I really needed to, but I would do squats and then lunges, leg extension, leg curls. I would do hip thrust, like 2 to 3 sets of those, and that would really get my glutes. But now I'll do a couple sets of like lunges to 15 to 20 reps with some weight on my back, and I'll feel that for days. As well as stiff leg deadlifts. Those things get my I can do 1 set of those and my hamstrings will be sore for a couple days. I do 2 sets, I might not be recovered by, if I'm doing 15 to 20 reps, by my next workout. So that's a good one for me, but right now my lower back's hurting, so I'm not gonna do those. But I'm gonna add that back in a future block of training. And that's something to keep in mind too. There's so many different exercise variations, and you see all these people on YouTube saying this is the best, or this is the best, or this. They're all different ways of putting tension on the muscle. So what you enjoy, what works for you, go with that and do it long enough to where you can see progress. And then you work out for 2 to 3 months doing that program, and then switch to something else when it starts getting boring. Okay, I'm tired of doing squats, I might do a hack squat or a leg press instead. And then do that for a couple months and then switch back to something else. But stay consistent with something long enough so that you actually are making progress with it. Okay, gotta get my head right here. Because I wanna see if I can get 15 reps today. I got 14 on my last 2 workouts. And the trick is to not speed through them either, because when you go quicker, it is easier, but you want to be controlled and activate the muscles, not just speed through it, using momentum and the recoil from your muscles being stretched. So if you have questions, post them in the chat, and I'll check those when I get done with the set. Here we go. Five. 10. 5. got it. Man. When I started this block of training, I was doing 10 reps. Like my goal was to just stick with the same weight for 4 or 5 weeks. And slowly just keep adding reps. It wasn't so bad going to failure when it's only 10 reps. Oh my goodness. When it's 15, it makes a big difference. Oh, did too much. Lunges, goblet squat, rack pull, leg extension, leg curl, calf press. Yeah, it can get to be a lot, and you get used to it. And I'm going to talk about later why I quit doing so many exercises. Pull, nice. Pull down cable row, nice, man. Yeah, if you just push yourself hard in those few exercises, you'll make progress for sure. And consistently track it and push yourself. Try to respond in the chat a bit too. So, write that down on my log. I've got one more leg day after this before I restart my program with higher weights. I'm gonna go up to what I think my new 10 rep max is and then stay on that weight again for like 5 weeks or so. Goodness. Okay, back to the discussion. So, what you'll hear probably from most people is that 10 to 20 sets a week are ideal for muscle growth. That's a pretty big range. And just to clarify, we're talking working sets. That means your warm-ups don't count as that. So my first 2 sets I did, those don't count towards my volume for the week. So for me, I work out push-pull legs twice a week, which means, if you're not familiar, push workout, chest, shoulders, triceps, pull, back, biceps, and then legs, quads, hamstrings, calves. And so since I'm doing that twice a week, I shoot for around 8 to 10 working sets per day per those muscle groups. That way you do that twice, well now I've got 16 to 20 sets per week. And that big range, 10 to 20, is because when you're starting out, you don't need as many. 10 is fine. And then as you adapt, you start working up towards 20. So like you could go and do like a full body workout twice a week. You do 4 working sets of squats and then a bench press of some kind of row or pull down. And then, like maybe a circuit of biceps, triceps, shoulders, and you're good to go. You're gonna hit that 10 working sets in just a couple workouts. Nice. Yeah, just track your weight and your calories, man. And you'll be able to track and see if you need to make adjustments. That's a big thing. And if you've been losing weight on that 17 to 1800 calories you've been talking about, just keep in mind that if you've been in a deficit for a while, you're probably low on glycogen, which is the carbs that are stored in your muscles. So when you go back to maintenance level, your weight might go up a couple pounds just because your body's refilling your muscles. That's not fat. That's why a lot of people, when they do keto diets, are like, oh, this works so great. It's because you're not having carbs and you flush a lot of water out of your system. And when you eat carbs again, like they have a cheat day and have pizza, they hold a lot of water because all those carbs get stored. It soaks up the water. Every gram of carb holds 3 grams of water. So you might be like 3-4 pounds heavier the next day and like, oh my gosh, I got fat overnight. But like, you're not gaining 4 pounds of fat overnight. It's literally just water that's stored in your body. So be aware, you may see your weight bump up a little bit, if you've been in a deficit and going back to maintenance calories, but it's not a big deal. Just track it over time and see if it continues to go up. Then you need to cut back a little bit. So yeah, 10 for beginners, 20 as you get more adapted. But you can actually, there's research that shows you can go up to as high as 50 working sets. I think it was like 52, but 50 is an easy number per week for a muscle. But there's some caveats to that, and I wouldn't suggest it. Do my next set, and then we'll mention what those are. All right. 15 on the last set. See what we can get this time. Oh. This thing is, I look at all the weight stacked on it and it gets intimidating when I know I've got to do these higher rep sets. But it's all good. Feeling the legs burn. It's just funny, like pushing to failure on a bench press is no big deal, but when it's your legs, since they can handle so much more weight, it's just like pushing really hard at the end of a set. More fatiguing. Can y'all hear my kids inside going, woo? Five. Come on. I try not to let myself rest too much at the top. Because when you're doing these, you can lock out your knees and be like, take some breaths, let some of the lactic acid clear out, and then keep going. But I don't want to do that. So when it starts getting hard, I'll pause and give myself like one deep breath and go again. But other than that, I'm just trying to keep it consistent so I can gauge my progress as good as possible. Oh, man. It's getting cold too. I think tomorrow morning it's gonna be like in the 20s. I forget what that is in Celsius for you over there at Denmark. That was tough. So that's one less rep than last time. But I did one more rep on my first set, which takes more out of you too. Yeah, I can't do keto. The only time I ever do it's a peak week, and I feel terrible. I feel like I have no energy. Carbs are a good source of energy, especially for working out and when I do cardio too. What am I having for food? Let me know. Oh, so as far as the 50 sets per week. Yeah, it's right there. The 50 sets per week, it is, you're gonna have to probably charge it because it's been out here all night.
It's not 62.
But when those studies talk about 50 sets per week, they're literally doing like just that one muscle and that's it for the week. And they saw progress. Whereas you got to think of your overall volume too for your whole body. You could not do 50 sets for every body part, working sets per week, and make progress from it. You're gonna start regressing. Like I've had this happen when I do too much for too long and keep adding more, I start getting worse in all my lifts. So focusing on a few and just doing enough to where you get a good pump, a workout is all you really need. So say there's a body part that you want to emphasize more, You could go up to like 30 working sets per week, but you need to take something else and bring the volume down. Like say, I'm happy with my legs, but I want to bring my chest up. So I'm going to take my legs down to like a maintenance volume of like 8 to 10 working sets per week if I was doing 20. And then I'm going to put that extra emphasis on the chest. Maybe add chest to another day and hit it 3 times a week instead of 2. So those are things to consider. But the other big thing people ask is like your major muscles versus your minor ones, meaning like your chest, your lats, your quads versus, you know, how many sets for biceps, triceps, shoulders. Like I feel like I don't do as many sets for that. I'm doing all the sets for the big muscles. So my diet right now, I'm just eating around like 2,800 to 3,000 calories a day. I've been maintaining around 182 for my body weight. I just typically, even when I'm not dieting to try to lose fat, I'm typically eating the same foods. Like this morning I actually had cereal, which I don't have that often because I wanted something with some carbs, but that's lighter because since I was up till 2 working on this car, I didn't want to eat a bunch before doing legs and feel sick, so I just had a little bit of quick cereal carbs and some Fairlife milk that's higher in protein, has a lot of the fat taken out, lactose free. But I eat a lot of like cottage cheese, a lot of Greek yogurt with granola and berries. Last night we just had chicken and broccoli and some rice. That's funny, chicken, broccoli, and rice. That's your typical bodybuilder diet. No, it was green beans last night. But we usually have some kind of like potatoes or rice, some kind of meat for dinner. The other stuff, it's like I'll just eat the same things throughout the day, higher protein things. A lot of the recipes that I have on the channel, I actually post that in here too. I have a whole playlist of various anabolic recipes that I eat right there. And I eat a lot of like oatmeals with protein powder mixed in. There's a blueberry kind I like and a peanut butter. I'll mash up banana and mix in. It's like banana peanut butter oatmeal. It tastes really good. And the other one tastes like a blueberry muffin. I put actual blueberries in after I mix in this blueberry protein powder, and it's pretty good. What leg program to start on has most equipment? I mean, if you can do squats, I think squats are a great exercise to get overall. You do like 4 to 5 hard sets of squats and then go in and, you know, do something else like leg extension, leg curls, and some calf raises. Essentially what I'm doing here, except with squats at the beginning. Like I really like squats, but I just go in heavy a bunch. I hurt my back. And I don't want to do squats again for a little while until it feels completely normal again. So I'm just sticking with machines for now, but hack squats are really good too. The big thing is whatever you do, use light enough weight so you can get a full range of motion and control it for like 10 reps or so. And you'll really feel it. Because I used to go like halfway down on squats and back up and my legs grew from that. But when I took like 100 pounds off the bar and started squatting all the way down and back up, it was crazy how much of a difference it made and how it felt. Because I would go from just like my quads feeling kind of like pumped around here to like all the way up into my hip joint. I would feel a pump in my quads. So that told me that I'm using even more of the muscle and pretty much as I can. So it made a huge difference. Like, and you're way less likely to get hurt when you're using a full range of motion. Granted, I said I got hurt doing squats, but that was when I was training for powerlifting and doing lots of heavy doubles and singles for weeks on end going into a competition. So when you're doing the higher rep stuff and you have good form, keeping your back straight, it's less likely that you're gonna get injured from that. All right, last set with 350. Then I'm gonna go down to 320. And you'll notice on a lot of my exercises, I'll start out the first few sets with the same weight, then drop some of the weight, because if you're going to failure or close to it, you're not gonna hit the same reps every time. Like you saw, I got 15 and I got 12. I might only get 10 on this one, and I don't wanna keep dropping down, so I drop the weight some. But once the weight gets below like 10% of my working weight, then I can't do the same reps anymore. then you know you're pretty much done. All right, here we go. Lock in. One more, come on. Like that, I can feel all the way up into my hips. All right, only 2 more sets to go on that. 11 reps, all right. So, where was it on here? One of the reasons I switched to this type of program I'm doing now, that I'm only using 4 exercises per workout, is like, even for this, when I was at the gym, I do like squats, then leg press, then lunges, and calf raises, and leg extension, a leg curl. And it's like I would do 2 or 3 hard sets for each, so that I'm getting up towards that 10 total working sets for the workout. But it's like, when you're doing that, I'm pretty much, as soon as I'm getting locked in and really feeling the exercise and starting to get a pump, I'm moving to a different exercise, having to do a warm-up set into that, and then doing the working sets. So I might be doing an extra like 3 warm-up sets because I'm doing so many different exercises and don't really get into the groove of it very well because I'm moving to another exercise. Whereas with this, I'm doing like 5 hard sets. Same with bench press, same with lat stuff or back stuff. And you can really lock in. Like right now, my legs are quite pumped and burning, and I got 2 more sets. But my form, technique's locked in now. Keep going, push it hard, and then move on to the next thing, which is only basically 1 more exercise for quads and hamstrings I'm doing back to back. And to me, it's just like I'm doing the same total volume of work, but just focusing on 1 exercise, I just feel like I'm getting more out of it because I'm just getting locked in and really pushing hard with that exercise. But for the question, or not the question, but talking about how many sets to do for those like secondary type muscles. Because if you watch these, you might notice, oh, I'm only doing like 3 sets of leg curls for my hamstrings. Or like yesterday I did 4 sets of bicep curls. So that's only like 8 total, or really, the first one was a warm up, so it's 3 sets. So that's like 6 working sets per week for the biceps. And triceps, I haven't even been doing tricep press downs just because I don't feel like it lately. It's part of the reason why. I don't really like doing them, but I also like the size of my triceps, so I'm fine with that. I'm more of maintaining them. But from what I've heard from other people that I've watched is those other muscles, when you're doing compound movements, they're being worked still. It's not the main focus, but they're being worked. So I look at it like a 2-to-1 ratio. So if I do, 5 sets of bench press, that's like 2.5 sets of triceps. Okay. So then if I do another 4 sets of dips, well, those are even more tricep focused than bench press, but same thing, that's like 2 more sets of triceps. So that's basically like I've done almost 5 sets of triceps already before I go into a tricep press down. So then if I just do like 3 working sets of that, now I'm up to 8 for the week. And then the same with biceps. I did 4 sets yesterday of rows. Go like this and see if your bicep is flexed. Even if you're like this, your bicep is flexed when you're doing those heavy rows. 4 sets of that, that's like 2 sets of biceps. And I'm doing the pull-ups. Same thing, you are using your biceps, even if you're focused on your back. So there's another 2. So that's 4 sets right there. And then I do 3 hard sets of curls. Now I'm up to 7 total. That's 14 for the week. And that works for me. So that's the way I look at it. I'm not gonna go in, and same with shoulders, like bench press, and dips, you're using your shoulders, especially the front delts. So I focus on the side delts after that. So I got like 6 working sets of shoulders just from doing all the pressing movements. And then I go in and do lateral raises. Now I'm adding another 4 sets right there, and that's 8 total sets for my shoulders. I don't do any like front raises because you're already doing your front delts a lot. If you want the capped delt look, side raises are the way to go. I rarely do overhead pressing anymore, just because I'm doing so much pressing already with my front delts. Like I don't want to do overhead presses. I don't feel the need to. But that's the way to look at it. And for delts, I had someone ask too, like, do I need to do like, 10 working sets for front and 10 for side and for rear, or is it like overall shoulder? And I look at it as the overall shoulder muscle, because you're still working just about all of them with all the, like, try to do a lateral raise, see if your front delt isn't working. Maybe not so much the rear delt, but I do those on back days. So same thing, you're doing pull-ups and rows, you're working your rear delts, pulling everything. And then I do a few sets of actual reverse flies. So yeah, that's the way I calculate it for my own training, and it works well. And soreness is another thing we'll consider after I get this set. Drop set, I did 13 and then 10. That's gonna be painful. So 320 now, and then dropping to 250. Oh, like, it's getting hard for me to walk. I'm feeling it. Something to consider too, just side note, I thought about, squirrel moment I guess, is when you're asking about leg programming, and I had someone also ask in a comment before, like, talking about like range or mobility issues, range of motion with getting deep on squats or something like this. If you do calf raises first at the beginning of your workout, it'll warm up your ankles, get your flexibility good, and then that'll help you get even deeper with your squats or leg press or whatever, kind of squatting motion you're doing. Five. Ten. Drop sets aren't necessary. It's just something I like to do. Because you'll start getting a crazy pump and your legs really burning. Ideally, you do this with a partner, so you stay on the machine while your partner takes the weights off. But that gives me a good excuse to have a little extra rest. Ow! Oh, that burns. Wow. Whew. Today's one of those days where I'm mostly just matching my last workout, which isn't a bad thing. You're not always gonna do better. Sometimes you may even do worse. But that's why I like pushing pretty close to failure on everything. Because then even if you are having a worse day, you know you're pushing yourself as hard as you can, so you're still getting the most out of it. I think I did 13 and 10. I'm not sure. My last set, I'm doing 300 pounds for as many reps as I can. Okay, so soreness. Soreness is not necessarily a gauge for getting a good workout. Granted, if you are sore the next day, you probably did work your muscle hard enough. You gotta be careful with how much, like it's a good gauge to determine how hard if you need to pull back. So ideally, if you're wanting to hit all your muscles twice a week, that's about 3 to 4 days between doing the same workout. And you want to be recovered enough to where you can push hard and do better. So if I do this and then went to work out 3 days later, the same workout, but my legs are sore, then I'm probably not gonna be able to push as hard. For example, I did chest 2 days ago. My chest is still sore right now. And tomorrow's my cardio day. And I know by, what's tomorrow? Wednesday? So Thursday when I do chest again, I'll be recovered and ready to go. But if I was gonna do chest tomorrow, I might not perform as well. I definitely wouldn't today. So you wanna make sure you have enough days. I like to do at least 3 days between doing the same exercise. Granted, there's some muscles for me that rarely ever get sore. Does that mean I'm not working them hard? No, because I feel that I'm working them. Like my back rarely gets sore, my lats, but I could feel that I was working them yesterday in my rows and my lat pull downs, and I could feel a pump in my back. So I know I work them hard. And I've had in gyms where I do like twice as much volume, get a crazy pump in my back, but I'm still not sore the next day. Whereas my chest, I am sore pretty much every time I do one of my chest workouts. And I do 5 sets of bench press and like 3 or 4 sets of dips. And that's it for my chest. I do some side lateral raises. My biceps and triceps rarely ever get sore. Triceps sometimes, biceps like never, unless I do something crazy where my dad used to like to do. We get like a 50-pound bar and pyramid up, so I do a rep, hand it to him, he does a rep, back to me, 2, all the way up to 10 and back down. And they hurt after that, but I do not like doing those. And my arms have grown pretty big with what I've been doing. My quads, they're usually sore after one of these for a day, nothing bad. And then I'm recovered by the next workout just fine. My hamstrings, I gotta be careful. Cause like I was saying before, I can do stiff-legged deadlifts. I do 2 sets of 15 to 20 reps and they will be sore for like 4 or 5 days sometimes. Once I get more worked into it, it might only last 3 days, but if I push that too hard, like it doesn't feel that hard when I'm doing it. I mean, the exercise is difficult, but nothing's hurting or anything. And I feel like I could do more sets, but if I did, they'd be sore for a long time. So you got to kind of figure out what works for your body with soreness. And if you get to your next workout and that body part is still sore and it's been 3 days, that means you probably did a little too much volume on the previous one. So soreness is just a gauge. Like I like to feel a little bit of soreness. It's kind of like, oh, I worked hard, I feel like I'm sore. You got to make sure you're sleeping enough too, so that your body can recover and build your muscles bigger. You're eating enough protein so that it has the building blocks it needs to build muscle. If you're wanting to make progress. So you can push hard in the gym, feel sore, but you want to make sure that you've got everything else dialed in too, or else it's not going to matter much. If you're not eating the right stuff, you're not going to build muscle. If you're not sleeping enough, that's really going to hurt your body's ability to build muscle. If you're in a crazy calorie deficit, the best you're probably going to be doing is maintaining muscle. So it's a fine balance. Like losing fat is so easy compared to gaining muscle. That's why everyone wants to know how all this stuff works, because you just follow a diet and think it's going to make you look jacked, but that just helps you lose fat. Push pull legs twice a week, do different exercises. Yeah, I actually until what I'm doing right now, I was doing that on my phone. I had a leg day A and a leg day, a leg B day, and then same for chest, A and B, and back, because I do like doing different exercises. The reason I switched part of it, I was still only doing like a few exercises, you know, like the 4 exercises or so per workout. But I like doing those different exercises, so I did them on different days. I could focus on them and push hard. The reason I switched right now is because I'm trying to, for an experiment I'm doing, I'm gonna try out the turkesterone from Harder Than Last Time. So I want to use this as a gauge of my progress without having anything, and then start trying out the supplement and basically start the program over and see if the progression is quicker. I'll be heavier weights obviously, but starting at the same 10 rep max for my different exercises and see how the progression is with that. But yeah, man, I'll get that to you in a minute. I can just write it in the chat for you so you can check it out. It'll give me something to do between sets. But yeah, that's definitely, as long as you're sticking to those things and tracking your progress, that's a great way to do it. Especially if, like, for me, part of the reason I did it is because I still want to keep squatting, but I didn't want to do it hard twice a week and put extra stress on my back. So I'd squat one of the days and then do like a hack squat or leg press the next day. Or not the next day, but the next workout. Okay, 300 pounds. Got 14 last time. Oh, these higher reps are killing me. This is the last set though. You can push through it. You can push through it. Focus. Push through the burn. 10. Oh my goodness. Oh, one extra rep. 15. Hey Casper, if you go to my Instagram, if you have Instagram, if not, let me know. But if you go to that and DM me, I can send you those programs because it'll be a lot easier to copy and paste from my phone than typing it in the chat. And I'll make that the topic one of my next videos as well. Oh, goodness. But I pretty much, just for reference, here, I'll type this in case you didn't hear me. Um, 15, nice. It's got one extra rep in the beginning and one extra in the end. But I typically would do the same, like, accessory exercises. So like on a chest day, I'd still do lateral raises and tricep press downs, or like bicep curls for on the back days type of thing. Or I might do like, you know, standing side laterals versus seated side laterals, just to make it a little different. Tricep press down versus like a skull crusher. But yeah, there's lots of options. If you can DM me, that'll make it easy. Hey, that's great to hear, Alan. I'm glad to help. And just feel free, if you got questions, post them in the chat. A lot of these topics I'm making for these live videos are based on what people are asking in the chats. So I know those are important questions to y'all and want to address those before I talk about other random topics. But I'm going to start working in my calf raises now and leg curls. So this is a warm-up set, but it's still 20 reps. It's actually quite a pump, so it's almost like a working set here. But even though my ankles are pretty warmed up from doing all those sets, my calves aren't necessarily warmed up too. So I want to not go straight into heavier weight. And keep in mind, I always tell people this, your calves are like every other muscle. You want to get a full stretch, full contraction. Don't just sit there bouncing the weight like this. I see people do that all the time on calf machines. You want your calves to get bigger. Part of it's genetics with how big they'll be able to get, but you got to treat them like everything else. And do good, controlled reps. Oh, feeling it a little bit in my quads still. Oh. All right. Okay. Okay, y'all are gonna have to, excuse me, forgive me for a sec in case this is disorienting. Because of all the work I was doing on my car, I'm gonna have to get creative here. Try to put the tripod up high and see over the car. So I'm gonna move this and see if I can get a good angle for y'all here. See my messy garage right now. Make sure I'm not ripping the cord out here. Killing my video feed. Here, I'll just move this over here carefully. Alright, I think we're good on the cords. Move this box. You can see a little bit of what we were doing on the engine down here. It's replacing all my radiator hoses, these blue ones. There's a lot in here that were hard to get to though. It was a bit of a pain. Let's turn this down and raise this up some more. Again, sorry if that's disorienting at all. But, you know, it's a live garage workout. This is literally what goes on in my garage when I'm trying to work out sometimes. One thing I regret about when we got this house was not getting one with a 3-car garage. It would have more space for a gym. Granted, all I had was my wall gym over there at the time. I wasn't expecting that I would start getting companies sending me all this cool weight equipment. So that is a fortunate blessing, but it is taking up a lot of space. So we got to figure out something here. 20 reps here on the leg curl. Same here, it's still a working set, like the 20 reps is hard, but I'm treating it like a semi warm up because I'm doing higher reps, so I'm less likely to get hurt. So the first 10 don't feel that hard, but then after that, it's kind of like combining a working set with a warm up set. So I'm not gonna get injured, but it's still working. Because that 5 to 30 rep range is what makes a difference. With 105 pounds. I've got a bunch of songs from Wicked stuck in my head. My girls have been, when we drove to Tennessee for my daughter's gymnastics competition, I think I heard it like 4 times in the car. I guess we'll use this angle here for calves. You don't have IG? Okay. I just gotta keep an eye on the time here because I gotta get a shower and get my girls to gymnastics soon. All right, 270 for 18. So adding weight. And some more calves. You could look me up on Facebook too, just Camber Fitness. If you have Facebook, you can try that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14. Oh man, oh that hurts. It's like the calves feel like they're about to knot up, they're like on the verge. Ooh, that's tough. Alright, let's move back over here. Take the exposure back down. This is funny, doing it like this. Get my face all up in the camera. The beauty of live videos, folks. We're at 160. Alright, sweet, I'll check that out when I get done here. It'll probably be a few hours. I'll be sitting at gymnastics with my girls for a couple hours later, and I'll take care of that while I'm there. But I am an airline pilot. That's what I do for a living. I started out in the military, flew for 13 years, just about, and been flying in the airlines for the last 6 years now. That's why I'm home working out like this a lot, because when I'm not on the road, I'm just at home. Five. Ten. My workout. Huh? Oh, be careful, honey. There's lots of cords over there with my computer. Okay? Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff out here, sweetie. You can sit up here if you want.
Okay.
From when we were working on the car last night. See, all this stuff is out of the car because I'm trying to fix it.
Oh, you're trying to fix that? You're trying to fix that door?
Well, I'm going to fix the door later, but I have to fix the engine first.
Oh, why?
Because the car won't work without the engine. Oh, okay. And 3-year-olds are hilarious.
There's lots of stuff out here. Mama?
Mom's not out here, baby.
Oh, Daddy?
Alright, I'm just checking my weights over here what I need to put on there. So we're moving up to 320.
Paper towels, Dad?
Those are to clean up oil and stuff like that.
Paper towels?
Yeah, it soaks up the oil better than regular ones.
Also, we still have the white ones.
Got 14 last time. Guess I could, ow.
Nothing back.
Just hit my leg weird. Are you singing Wicked? Are you singing Wicked?
No.
Yeah, I can tell you sound like a goat. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right, I got 14 last workout, so let's see if we can at least match that. Ten, 11, 12, 13. Ow. Calves are burning. It's 14. All right, one more set of leg curls. Hit 160 and drop to 120. I guess I could zoom this in a little bit. Forgot about that. I'm trying to do math. Let me move this. That'll be, yeah, okay. Okay, I think I got it straight. Last time I did 12 and then 9 on this drop set, so see if I can get that. Ooh. They're burning. Alright. Drop 30 pounds off. Keep going. Oh man, that burns. Oh. That's a crazy feeling. Oh man, that's intense. I got 3 total sets left. I'm doing 3 more of calves, along with 3 sets of leg extensions. I used to do this as one big circuit where I would do leg extensions and leg curls back to back. But I found that when I do leg curls right after when I do leg extensions right after doing leg press, I can't do as much. Because man, I can't think straight. That was tough. I can't do as much because my legs are still so pumped from all the leg presses. So I do a few sets of leg curls, gives my quads a bit of a break. And then I can get back into it. Okay. Just real quick, I saw you had a question there. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, it's definitely not a cheap profession to get into, being a pilot. There was a guy in my pilot training class in the military who went through and got all of his flying ratings to be a commercial pilot on the civilian side, and he had $100,000 in debt. This was like 20 years ago. And I went straight in the military. And you have to get some flying experience before you'll get accepted in, for the most part. But you're essentially getting paid to get all those same ratings instead. So yeah, in the US, going into the Air Force to get your pilot training is, I think, one of the best ways to go. Oh man, I gotta be careful. I'm really feeling the calf pump. And I've had it happen before. Oh man. Where when my calves, I get a really good workout on them later in the day, or when I go to bed, they'll just randomly lock up and it hurts so bad. That's like the only time my calves ever really get sore the next day, is if I get a crazy Charlie horse and it lasts for a few minutes so I can work it out. Then my calves will be sore for a couple days. But usually it's only one of them that it happens to. So then it's just one side feels kind of weird. I'm dropping the weight down to 300 pounds now instead of 320 for the rest of those sets. It's definitely fun though once you get to the point where you're flying around and getting paid for it. Especially I fly international, so it's pretty fun going all around the world. And the nice thing is a lot of these international hotels they put us in have really nice gyms too. So I can, for the most part, still get in my exact same workouts that I do at home anywhere I go. Usually I'll do something a little different, like, you know, they have equipment that I don't have at home, so it's fun to use a different type of machine or whatever, and I'll do that. But I do the same basic movements. Same thing, 20 reps on this first set, and then 2 more after that. Five. 10. 15. 20. calves are still tight during that set. 60, 70, 85, 195. Okay, where'd I put my phone? Oh, there it is. With these supersets, it's just literally going back and forth. That's what I like about supersets, is that you save a lot of time. These aren't really opposing muscle groups how you typically do supersets, but I'm doing accessory movements that are targeting just the quads, just the calves, so it's not really going to affect each other. Alright, so I'm getting near 15 on these. I don't know about that, because those last two are really tough. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Come on. I want to get the same reps at least. Excuse me. Gotta hurry up these last couple sets so I can get ready to go. So my first sets I did 160 for 20. Now I've got 195. Keep in mind, that number is going to be relative to the machine you use. Most gyms with leg extension machines that have weight stack plates, I'm probably doing this with like 150. This machine is just different. Five. Getting hard to walk, folks. It's getting hard to walk. All right, last set of calf raises, followed by the last set of whatever that other thing I'm doing. Leg extensions. My calves are feeling quite pumped. I just want to add some comments in there, but Cass rest, do you keep track of rest time between sets? And do you always know you want to be a pilot? So, to the first question, I'm doing a drop set on this last one too. So for your first question, no, I don't track my rest. You know, people say rest 30 to seconds between sets. If I only did that much, I would not be able to lift nearly as much weight. What I do is I just tell people, rest however long it takes for you to catch your breath and feel like you're ready for your next set so that you can get the most out of it. So like, it depends on the exercise I'm doing. Like if I'm doing squats or lunges, I'm resting a long time because those kill me and take a lot out of me. So I'm gonna rest however long it takes for me to feel like I can get the most out of it. That might be 3 minutes, it might be 5 or 6 minutes. So it depends on how long your workout is as well, how much time you have. Which for me, I'm typically working out at home or at a gym in a hotel. I've got all the time I want. But if you're on a time crunch, that may not be the case. And in those situations, I would probably just use less weight so that you can still push yourself hard to the number of reps you want to get with less rest. Because, hold on. When it comes to progressive overload, oh my calves. It's not always just about adding more weight or more reps. You can make an exercise more difficult by going slower on the rep. You can make it more difficult by pausing at the bottom of reps and holding longer. So you could stay on the same weight for like 4 months and keep making it more difficult. But also, less rest time between sets is another way to progressive overload because you're going to be pushing yourself harder by not having as much rest. So it depends on your situation. All right, last leg extension. Okay, did 14 on the last one. So I got 13 and 9 last time. So for the leg extension, or for the other question, so I always know I want to be an airline pilot. I did not. I was in college. I met my wife about halfway through. I wanted to get married. And I was in the business school already. And I was like, you know, I should probably figure out what I'm gonna do for a job if I want to marry this girl, so I can take care of her and have a family. I was 19 at the time. I got married 4 months after I turned 20, and then we graduated from college. 5 months later, we each had 2 classes left in our last semester, and my dad's an airline pilot as well, and he always joked that he didn't really work for a living because he liked what he did and got to travel and it pays well. So I was like, well, I'll try that. Took some flying lessons. I picked up pretty quick. I enjoyed it, did well, and finished college. You just have to have a college degree to be an officer in the military. I had my dad help mentor me on the best route to go to do it. Like I was saying, getting paid by the military versus going into debt yourself. And when I got in the military, I was making almost double what we were made when we first got married, because I just had basically I call it a full-time, part-time job. It's the type of job that you would typically do like it's a part-time job, but I was doing it full-time to pay the bills. And it just all worked out from there, thankfully. Sometimes I gotta sit there and tell myself, it's all in your head. You can keep going. It's just burning. It's not a big deal. But it can be hard to override that feeling. All right. And that, folks, is the end of today's live workout. Tomorrow's my cardio day, so I'm gonna be swimming for like an hour to an hour and a half or so. Probably eat a lot of pizza on that day. Or tonight, we'll see. What time is it? Yeah, I gotta go get a shower. I'll be streaming again on Thursday, push workout. Probably be like, I don't know, early afternoon. I prefer doing bench a little after lunch. We'll see how my schedule works. But hit that like button if this was helpful. Appreciate you guys tuning in and chatting. Have a good time with y'all. Thanks, Casper. Hopefully I'll see a lot of y'all again soon. I'm gonna look through questions in the chat and stuff and use that for topics in the next videos. But if you're watching and you wanna know something, post it in the comments and I'll talk to y'all soon.